the game, I know Da Vinci was there when Ezio needed him just to kind of give him, okay, you're going the right way, you're going on the right path. But in reality, do you think Da Vinci as a youth really had that same guidance, or did he struggle?
He definitely struggled. I think that's quite interesting that because we're also playing with time slightly in this show, and that he's a man who doesn't quite know, that seems to know what will happen. His notebooks look like he had a portal to the future in his mind. You know, he invented the tank and the submarine, all this stuff that wouldn't actually be realised for hundreds of years. So the idea that in Assassin's Creed he's there just to point people in the right direction implies that he might be a man at a time, and that's what we do here. Yeah, I've forgotten your question.
Ezio called himself somebody who was there, although he may never understand the truth, he was there to discover it. And even if it eludes his understanding, it's okay because he just wants to point the truth to other people. Do you feel that Da Vinci did the same thing?
It's absolutely the same thing. The whole premise of the show is that knowledge should be free, and I think Leonardo's finding the idea that at that time that knowledge was repressed by Rome, and the people should be kept in one place through ignorance is something that is anathema to him. So he was desperate to get it out there, get out any information he could discover and put it into the populace. So it's a very similar philosophy.
Well, one thing I find very interesting about all of this is it seems like we're going back in Leonardo da Vinci's life. Like it's almost a Benjamin Button case where we're going from the older to the younger and going backwards almost, because we know who he was as, you know, an older man with a beard and everything, but who is he really as a youth? And that's what you guys are going into. So instead of saying, you know, you have to live up to the video game, do you think you're going to give the video game now something to live up to?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, the next series that you'll see will obviously be him as a preschooler for Nickelodeon. That's the thing. No one knows what he was like. 'Cause, I mean, there's lots of speculative stuff, and that's what we found out about the show is that between 27 and 32, no one knew where he was. There's a whole gap in his history. So to be able to fill that in and play him as a younger man, and sort of get rid of that idea of the long grey bearded guy with a hood, is quite an exciting prospect.
Do you think you played Da Vinci or did you become Da Vinci for this?
I'd hope I became Da Vinci. I mean, I had no choice. I lived it for such long hours. I was in pretty much every scene, and it was 16-hour days. And so, and I read every autobiography I could find, every biography I could find, went to every exhibition, went through all his notebooks. You know, our version's kind of crazy. So certainly became our version of Leonardo da Vinci. Whether I became history's version is up to people to judge.
Now, just as important as the characters are also the backdrops to video games and whether or not the graphics are good. So how did the sets live up to Italy, and were you consumed by them? Were they marvelous?
Well, there's a lot of CG in the show. I mean, we were lucky enough to have a sort of 265,000 square feet soundstage, which we built half of Florence in. But then from 20, 30 feet up to the sky, it was all green screen. Because obviously the skies in Wales aren't quite as blue as the skies in Italy. But some of the CG in the show is incredible, and particularly as we progress throughout the show, and you see later we travel to Rome and Constantinople, and all that stuff is completely generated in computers. And there's an incredible VFX team that would actually have on set an iPad that would show you what you were would build the world around you. Even so, you'd be standing on a normal soundstage on a green screen, and they could show you, look, there you are, and you're on top of this giant building, and you could see it. I mean, a very rudimentary early version of it, but yeah, the graphics were stunning.
Would you say that the graphics were astounding as far as what you've seen, or what makes you say that about the graphics?
Well, just because I was surprised. I thought, I was looking at things thinking, did we shoot there? I don't remember. Maybe we shot there. I got completely fooled by it. So there are moments where you do believe it, and I think that's when you know the graphics are working. When you're so transported that you don't notice that they're fake. So
which part of Da Vinci did you enjoy playing most?
I really like playing the fact that he didn't care about other people's feelings. So there's the fact that he was so set on what he wanted to do and how he wanted, and his pursuit of knowledge was all consuming. So the fact that other people might get in the way, it's quite fun as an actor to just be like, shut up to other people, because you know the best about being an actor, you've got to listen, you've got to do all that stuff.
You want to do that
and so every once in a while to be able to just sort of let off steam and scream at people is fun.
Da Vinci didn't, that was one part that you loved playing, was that he didn't care or whatnot. So you would say that he was almost like a rebel in society, a rebel against the government against the ruling people of the time?
Well, certainly, someone who is always the smartest man in the room, it must be incredibly frustrating when no one else around you can keep up with you. And I think when he could see so clearly how things should be, and watch the government at the time, or the ruling democracy in Florence, keep the ruling party in Florence, keep everyone under their thumb, I think it would be very difficult for him to keep quiet. So yeah, definitely a rebel.
Could you see a DaVincis Demons game coming out?
I would love a DaVincis Demons game to come out. I cannot tell you how much fun that would be. Right now, it's going to happen. I'm just going to say it's going to happen. It'll happen. And now it's got to happen. Right?
So they're going to strap you up and you could be part of the animations then, right?
I'll do motion capture. I'll do the voice. I'll do the full work.